Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings Here in Evil. Yeah, that's it. The Evil Edition. 666. A lot of weeks. Yeah, 666. So anyway, I was planning on doing something interesting and special and all that kind of crap, but I didn't do it. So, my bad. Yeah, it's just hard to be comedic. Hard to be anything but just, oh, God. Another day here on Earth. Ugh. So, even, you could just ridicule the stupid 666 thing. We're here we are living with these stupid religious artifacts, these stupid, idiotic symbols, of crosses. Every time you see a cross, it gives you the heebie-jeebies. All of this, yuck. Like you could just say it'd be so great if we didn't have all this garbage stuck in our collective conditioning, our heritage of a bunch of crap. I mean, just crap. I mean, it's superstitious bullshit, that just confuses people, keeps people from following along, enables them to become what they've become. Conspiracy theorists, loop-de-doo scapegoaters all over the place. I mean, it's pathetic. So it is sort of convenient that this is the election, this 666 thing, and the whole politics really has become, you're Satan. No, you're Satan. It really is. You can't, you don't want to be either one of these choices. But, I'd still argue that clearly one choice is so hypocritical, so full of shit, that you just can't go anywhere near it. So maybe I'll talk about some of that. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about pushing women down the stairs, pregnant women. Criminals, I mean, it's just a fact. So, I mean, if I said, like right now, it's probably okay for somebody to talk about how, incarcerating animals and torturing them and, doing experiments on them in laboratories and all that kind of stuff is fucking evil. I mean, a rational argument could be made that we're grown-ups now. We know that sentience isn't special for humans, that they're not the only ones in the game. And that, you can just point out the hypocrisy is that, what, the aliens are going to come here and treat us like that? They're not going to be smart enough to know not to torture feeling creatures? Oh, please. It's just too silly. So, in a way, you can point out pretty clearly that these people they're no better than Mengele or some other, psychotic kook who just takes, uses things, abuses them even. I mean, and it's so gratuitous in some places, That's where you even get into the whole conversation about the whole Bible Belt and these fucking backward retards, want to drag us back to the 1430s or something, make us all into potato farmers, that spend their weekends praising God, and then go back to, drudgery. Just like, how many billions of dollars, how many fake billions would you have to pay me, to live that stupid fucking tiny life? It's just such a tiny little life, breathing for the sake of breathing. Ugh, it's so pathetic. Millions of them live in this country, actually. I mean, just so fucking stupid. So this whole election was really, it's always about this one issue, this immigration thing. And obviously none of that politics has changed at all. The Democrats didn't do anything to separate themselves from this open border kind of gibberish, that just isn't going to play. I mean, the party wasn't founded on it. It's not, for decades, it was the Democrats protecting people from immigration, protecting the workers, protecting our standard of living, protecting our welfare state. Because all of that's thrown out the window. I mean, if you do this open border bullshit, you have to get rid of welfare. You have to allow kids to be raised on the street in dirt and filth. Because there's no way, because that's all you're going to get. I mean, those are the people going to immigrate. The ones who are smart and already have skills, they've already figured out how to get here. It's the real losers, the ones that can't get here, by some mechanism, outside the law, inside the law, And so they're the ones that are going to just run here to say, hey, they have clean water, yeah. So it's just too stupid. But, I mean, the choice of saying, oh, okay, the Democrats are dumb as fuck, I'm going to, I'll go to that other Satan who's just such a lying hypocrite. I mean, it's just so many lies. It's just, you're just saying, how can anybody just walk through all of that and say, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care how deplorable. I don't care how ignorant he is. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Because it just has to be, somebody has to be a placeholder for hitting the no button to the border thing. And again, like I said, the real threat isn't there. There isn't any real threat of this border opening thing happening or any of that kind of crap. So and we know the Republicans are the ones who want to create the competition. They want to force the wages down. So we know they want the immigrants. So let's not pretend they're going to stop it, or they're going to fix it, or they're going to do anything about it at all. Well, anyway, so it is a bizarre circumstance. Bizarre to watch this horse shit. And, and news is just gone. There's no such thing as news anymore. They're just, channels of propaganda and, look at it from our point of view. They ought to actually just display it in different colors, with like a red tinge on it or a blue tinge on it, or, just show the tinge. Just show how tainted the whole thing is, because facts don't really matter. So it's all just too disgusting to watch. So I haven't watched much of it, frankly. I really haven't. I don't. Who the fuck is Imelda Marcos, Harris, whatever? What's her name? Who the fuck is she? So, just more manipulations, right? I mean, Biden looked at the demographics and said, oh, yeah, well, if I do a woman thing, then I can convert some of those Trumpy women. Some of those Trumpy women will be seduced by that. They'll give up on Trumpy. If I seduce them with girly, drapes at the vice president's palace. So whatever. I mean, it's that cynical. Because this is not, there's no way she could have been somebody and I never even heard of her. Oh, come on. So it's another Mike Pence thing all over again. So now they've figured out that, they don't even have to put the, second in command. It doesn't even have to be a human being now. I mean, why don't they just IBM computer or something, that computer that, beat the chess player or something. Why don't they just run with that? Yeah, he'll take over. That'll be the next, what do you call those things when you're just doing it because they're black or because they're a woman? But that'll be the next one, right? Is the first computer vice president. And then be the first sandwich vice president sandwich. So anyway, just, oh, fuck. Yeah. So, I don't even, there's nothing, I can't even, contrive some sort of way to understand it or to even explain the economics of it, the insane hypocrisy of these people who are all about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and merit pay and, let's earn it, and let's, and then they glorify somebody who inherited it and then lied about it and then lost it all and squandered it and pissed it all away. And then they'll talk about, pay your bills and do all this stuff. And they glorify a guy who just is the exact opposite. I mean, just Satan opposite of any of those values. Right? I mean, he's so much of a hypocrite. Then even like the Christians, it's just so funny. I mean, he is the atheist in the sense that he's an atheist in his actions. I could show you hundreds of thousands of like Carl Sagan-esque atheists who wouldn't hurt a fly and who would be as honest could be and just try to live a nice, decent life. Um, type atheists who are so benign, so Christian in their ethics, so completely devoted to mankind, to the creation, you know. And the Christians will hate them just merely because they're atheist, right? And this asshole who, never even read the Bible, doesn't even know about any of its concepts or themes at all, is the antithesis of the idea of even giving a fuck about any kind of ethical code or being a decent human being. Um, and, and because he'll hold up a Bible and say, yeah, it's a really cool book. I love you, Satan. I mean, it's just so funny that they're fooled by something so so obviously fake. So obviously exactly what the devil would do. The devil would be such a poor performer, right? If there actually was an antichrist, this is exactly what you would draw him as. Just so callous that he's just like, yeah, I can get away with anything. I mean, Trump even says that kind of shit. I could kill somebody right on the street and I can get away with it because I'm Donald Trump. I mean, I'm Donald Trump, so I have to do the I'm Donald Trump. Oh, fuck. So it is just amazing, that, I sort of thought, okay, maybe some people, who didn't know who Donald Trump was, maybe they could fall for something. I don't know. I don't know. The first time, like, have some notion that this guy wasn't something else other than the biggest con artist walking on the streets in New York. I mean, he was so overtly caught and so overtly exposed as a Giuliani, I mean, just so bad. And he's running for president. You're just saying, how the fuck does that happen? And then how do people, and then it's just shown to you. I mean, 4 years of just too stupid. I mean, just too stupid. Um, one thing I noticed just in the election results was just kind of, you're just looking around, looking at percentages and just say, where's the dumbest state? You know, and Washington, D.C., the vote was 94 for Biden, 94%, like 6% for Trump. And you're just saying, what? So it's just kind of, you're saying, okay, Washington, D.C., so most of the people who live there, in D.C., are just servants, right? That's it. They're the service economy for this wealthy industry of government, right? So the government has a bunch of servants, and so basically all the slaves are voting for freedom, and or something like that, right? I mean, that's the only way you can explain it. You're just like, what the fuck, the numbers were just insane. Like I said, I never thought it was possible to have any region in the country that would be 96% or 94% for something. I mean, that was just too crazy. But then I thought about it. And I said, oh, yeah, that's probably how it works out. They're all slaves. Anyway, so I've avoided political conversation because there's just no ground for one because people are insanely fanatic and they just really don't care about economic facts and reality and all that stuff. And all you need to do is to have that one issue in their face. And, that's it. That's all they know. That's they can only handle one subject at a time, I guess. And so they really, but again, there is good reason to have a great deal of doubt concerning, I guess, even where's the rational core of the Democratic Party even, because they really have become communist in a sense. I mean, the label sort of fits now because what some of the stuff they're advocating is just completely unfinanced, daydreamy, wishful thinking mush. I mean, there's no logic to how it ever gets financed or it gets paid for or how it's going to work. Doesn't make any sense. It just overtly doesn't make any sense. And they keep saying they're going to do something like tax the rich, and they never do that anyway. you know. But and the deficit just keeps. I mean, the funny thing, look, it's I'm not going to say it's Trump's fault that this coronavirus showed up, and I'm not even saying I'm totally opposed to the idea that maybe we should have just gotten over it, in the sense that we just should have got it done with. Everybody gets sick and die. The ones who are going to die, and just get done with. Why drag it out? I'm not unsympathetic for some theory that states pretty much like do it as fast as you can. Keep the hospitals as full as possible, so have enough exposure to keep us as sick as we can be without really stressing the system. So if a few as die as necessary. But I mean, it's just a fact. It's going to happen. Blah 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 blah. All that bullshit. There's no place to hide. Maybe you can hope they get a vaccine before. Within a couple of years, so it doesn't, you're not doing this for 10 years, but you really can't hide. But anyway, I mean, it's automatically going to be a complex subject. You just can't mention anything about it without people just doing this knee-jerky reaction crap. But I mean, it's a strategy game. You really do have to understand what you're investing in. You're investing in these different hopes. The hope that you can come up with a vaccine. Well, what if you don't come up with a vaccine? Well, then you wasted 5 years, hoping that you could get yourself out of this mess. And you're not going to get it out that way. But all this needed to happen anyway. I mean, it's the internet age. All this social exposure was always putting us at risk anyway. This was always a risk of this happening. And we got to get the dead weight out of the economy anyway. I mean, the teachers and all the rest of them, they should have been exposed a long time ago as being totally unnecessary, useless, dead weight. There's something that should be in a museum somewhere. The live teaching performer. We really don't need them anymore. It's just a fact. I've learned lots more on the internet than I ever learned in any educational institution. So all this stuff should have been fixed already. All this whole whatever it is, this waste economy of a bunch of people not doing anything useful. And so the economy's still running because the people that are really useful are still working. And so we were sort of seeing that, you only need a few people to do the important stuff, and everything else is just make work. So, we got to find better jobs for people, more productive work for people to do. And we have to have a system of incentivizing work by actually paying people to do work rather than paying them to invest in stocks and to hold debt, And that's what we're doing now. We're rewarding the debt holders. You pay less taxes on the money you make on holding somebody's debt than you pay for going to work every day. That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, that's the Reagan bullshit. Somehow these people making money on the debt and deducting their losses, right? I mean, they go to Las Vegas, they lose some money one week. Oh, they just deduct it off their taxes on their winnings the week before. So there's no risk anymore. You can't help but only win. There's just almost no way to lose anymore, right? Because if your losses do get out of control, they just eat up your profits, and so you get to go home unharmed, and they call that risk taking. I mean, it's exactly the opposite of risk taking, obviously. So, but none of this is going to get fixed because nobody can have a rational conversation about anything. What's the implications of making the rich richer? See, I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We have a whole bunch of debt. And, that was what I was sort of getting to. The Federal Reserve numbers are just hilarious. And like I said, it's not really Trump's fault. Some of it. I mean, obviously, Trump had no financing plan for his tax cuts, so obviously revenues went way down, and they had to borrow more money, and they borrowed it in the Federal Reserve again. But the Corona thing is really, blew it way out of reasonable territory. So it went from 4 billion to 8. I mean, it's doubled how much debt is in the Federal Reserve. And this is like the stupidest money ever because it's bankers' money. I mean, the bankers have a check, that they wrote, and they bought, crap off the market with their own check, but no one's cashing the check. So, and the check is really the government owes the money. So they have to pay those checks eventually. If the bank has any kind of financial trouble and needs the money, what is the government going to say? No, I can't give it to you because that would be printing cash, and if I print the cash, it's going to cause hyperinflation. I mean, it's just So the very mechanisms they put in place to stop a crash, they've destroyed. So there's no FDIC insurance. Forget it. Don't even pay any attention because it doesn't mean anything. There's no insurance. There's no fund to pay it. They'll pay you back in monopoly money. I mean, in whatever they can find, in pieces of paper that just say $5 on them. They're not going to give you anything called real money. Anyway. So, but yeah, so you're just, like I said, this is Idiocracy 666, it does go with the cartoon of biblical proportions in terms of, oh, it just can't be this silly. I mean, it's almost raining frogs. I mean, we're almost there, right? We're almost putting blood over our door. I mean, wouldn't that be a giveaway that God is a lunatic when he tells you to, well, yeah, go kill his sheep and, paint his blood over your door? What? That makes me a good person? That makes me worth saving? Fuck. That's a pretty stupid key. Why should that open heaven's door? Oh, yes, I was willing to take some lamb's blood and smear it on my door. So, I mean, the world has always been full of crazy people. That's the truth, right? I mean, it's just been full of it, full of shit. God, humans have been bugs for a long time, and they're just still bugs. They're just still not very smart. Just doing a little buggy behavior. So, I mean, that just reminded me of smart versus cute, right? And so, I'm trying a different operating system, Windows. I guess it's really just Linux like Ubuntu or Mint. And then they've already installed Wine, which allows you to do the Windows crap, so you can run some Windows programs. But anyway, but it seems to work, which is interesting. So see how crashable it is. And anyway, and so I just tried the browser and did this and that, and then so I went to YouTube and just saw what YouTube looks like when YouTube doesn't know it's me. Right, so you get this. What is it showing the average person? And it's all like just the silliest of videos, and little cute rabbits and little cute kittens and all kinds of and it's just so pathetic. 50 million views, but they are cute. I mean, it's just undeniable. And compared to humans, I mean, we're just so fucking lame by comparison, frankly. It's like I saw a picture, an image of it's a really pretty woman, kind of seductive and with a tiger. But the tiger is just amazing. I mean, you're just looking at it's an amazing organism. And you're just saying, compared to a human, I mean, we are so fucking lame by comparison, just as a machine. I mean, fuck. Just, yeah, it's just, you can't even, the distance. We're so far behind as a well engineered mechanism. And it's just this little bit of scheming, this little scheming thing, this little 666 part of us. The part of us that enables us to do this little fucking self-interested, nihilistic, me first, what's in it for me, scheming. That's the only bit you know, that gave us the power to destroy all these other magnificent robots, you know, machines. And so now the world is just covered in these fucking dorky, fucking dysfunctional, psychotic, retarded pieces of shit. So that just reminds me, when I said retarded pieces of shit, that reminds me of Jordan Peterson. But, you know, somebody left some comment about Jordan Peterson video or something, and one of the old ones, and linked, and whatever. Saw it. Some piece of an old video, and you know, and then the new video of Jordan Peterson. You know, oh, I've had all kinds of health issues, and he's just this whiny little baby. So he's such a bitch about go clean your room and, you know, take care of your business. He couldn't take care of his own business. He, you know, needs to go to 5 million different clinics and blah, 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 blah. So all of a sudden he's this high maintenance loser. You know, he picks on high maintenance losers. I mean, it's just so ironic. Hilariously ironic. You know, just the world. It's just everything is just this upside down, retarded, dysfunctional. Just nothing well reasoned, nothing thoughtful, no real discipline. Let's work on this. You know, we're going to have a debate. The debate lasts 5 minutes. You know what I mean? There's just everything is just superficial, knee jerky, sloppy as fuck. You know, these things, none of these subjects are debated, none of them are discussed. There's no arena for any of this. There's no place to make a rational contribution to mankind in some way by making a good argument and having that argument rise to the top, and everybody has to beat that argument, and, you know, that kind of thing. There's just no mechanism. It's just a bunch of chatty crap, and it's full of crap and garbage. There's nothing in the messages to elevate them. They're just people saying, I'm a fan, I'm a fan, I'm a fan. You know, and they're a fan of what? You know, I think your shoes are fantastic, so I'm going to friend you because you have great shoes. Now, everything else about you is evil and disgusting, but, you know, I'm going to thumb up those shoes. Trilobites. That's, you know, we haven't gotten very far. Again, just schemes. We have better schemes than they had, and that's it. You know, so, now where else is there to go here? So let's talk about pushing women down staircases and stuff. I mean, pregnant women. So I just point out again how there's nothing, you know, you can't make a rational argument explaining how it's ethically okay for somebody to decide to be a life creator. I mean, it's so impositional. You're taking such a risk with the welfare of this creature. It's so arrogant. I mean, the arrogance alone of somebody thinking, I can manage it, I can control the experiment, everything's going to go okay, I mean, it's obnoxiously ignorant to think you have any of these skills necessary, that you're going to be able to, you know, even if the kid's playing in traffic and you're going to be quick enough to be able to pull him out, you know, kind of things. All these skills you think you have. I mean, it's so obnoxiously arrogant, you know, to be playing God. And that's all this is, right? Just, oh, I am capable of creation. And I'm going to make sure it doesn't get cancer. And I'm going to make sure it's not ugly. And I'm going to make sure it's not stupid. And it's not retarded or autistic or some other kind of horse shit. You're not going to make sure of any of that stuff. You're not going to control any of that stuff. And when the mess is made, you're going to go whining to the state to fix it. You know, pay me. You know, it's so there's nothing admirable about pregnancy. There's nothing honorable or decent in any aspect of it, and that's a perfectly rational perspective. Now, you might believe in a silly God, or you might believe that somehow because you have the ability to be made pregnant, or you have the ability to make children, that somehow having the ability alone is license. You know, that somehow, well, if you can do it, you can do it. So I could make that argument. I could just take that to say that, well, I should be able to kill anybody I want because I have the ability to do it. I can physically do it. So why can't I just go out and strangle dumbasses? Um, run them over with the car. It's easier. Uh, so that logic doesn't go anywhere. So you have to make some kind of rational argument about why there's something to respectable, that it's somehow not evil. Now, concede the state doesn't say it's against the law. So was smoking marijuana evil when it's illegal, or is it evil just because it's a waste of people's time? That they, you know, and if they're going to use anesthetics, they should do it in their house. They shouldn't be doing it driving down the street on a car or something. Lots of reasons to say, you know, there's this, But the point is, it isn't what it is because of some declaration by the state. So the fact that the state thinks it's okay to incarcerate and torture and kill animals doesn't mean it's right. The fact that it's legal doesn't make it, anything called honorable or correct or decent or any of that kind of shit. So, and again, I'm not saying, I didn't argue that you should push any pregnant woman down the stairs. I'm just saying there's good reason to think it wouldn't be a bad thing if it happened. So, people say things, they make jokes and criticisms as if I'm have some reason to back away from my statements. And no, frankly, if they could make a movie of pregnant women falling downstairs, with the fetuses flying out and, getting tangled in their umbilicuses and squashing against the wall, I'd watch it. I mean, frankly, I am a true anti-natalist in the sense that, I don't think nataling is just stupid. I think it's fucking evil. And those, just as Donald Trump can't slip on a banana peel too quickly for me. Likewise, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I wouldn't be entertained by pregos getting what they deserve. But yeah, I know it's against the law. So I'm not advocating anybody break the law. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just honestly stating I'm allowed to be entertained consistent with my values, not consistent with your values. Yeah, I think your values are retarded, frankly. So, what about pregnancy is admirable? It's a grotesquely selfish act based on some silly notion that they all think they're attractive and competent and I have great genetics. None of these people are getting pregnant, frankly. The winners aren't doing that. No, it's these stupid losers can't figure out what to do with their fucking lives. The people who don't have a life are choosing pregnancy. So, haven't even begun to try to be more than a bug. Bugs get pregnant and lay eggs. Dumb things do it. The argument is the smarter you are, the less likely it is you ever had a baby. It's just a fact, a statistical fact. If you just took the scale of the most accomplished humans in history and the ones that did the most with their brains, in terms of engineering and helping mankind, their their procreation rate is dismal, okay, compared to the masses. And especially compared to like I'm saying, the most unproductive people in the world are the ones having the most kids. That's a really back-assward bad situation. So yeah, I'm not going to back up and say, oh yeah, I don't really fantasize about. Yeah, sure I do. Yeah, I hate pregnancy. I hate it. Okay, it's repugnant. It is like, okay, the swastika for the Jews. It's a symbol of what's wrong. Okay, it's not a symbol of what's going right. It's a symbol of some asshole who thinks what they're doing something meaningful and reasonable. By creating another robot who has to play a role in this retarded society, has to be a Democrat or a Republican. Oh, what a great choice. Unrealistic, phantasmagorical, silly, wishful thinkers are draconian, hypocritical, douchebag, racist assholes. Oh, yeah, I'd love to be one of those two categories. No. Yeah, fuck that. So until you can make some better categories, and until you have some expectation that you're going to figure out how to raise your little monster to be in one of those better categories, you got no business, making babies. No, no business at all. Making victims, imposing, telling a poor consciousness that here we go again. So now that just had me remembering, that there's always this asshole commentary, because I point out the reoccurrence argument, okay, the Nietzschean reoccurrence argument, you could say, the metaphor, that this whole thing is just a redundant process, okay? I mean, it's not, all of a sudden I'm a religious person and I'm suggesting reincarnation. No, I'm suggesting that the amount of difference you think there are between these people, you think these are important differences, whether I have brown eyes or blue eyes, and whether I have blonde hair or black hair, or whether I'm 6 feet tall or 4 feet tall. You think those are important differences. I'm saying those are really unimportant. So, whether I'm born in Africa or India or Pakistan or, whatever race I am, I'm really just talking about somebody being born and having the same understanding of what the agenda here is on planet Earth, and that they have to sit there and now struggle to make the insanity and the ludicrousness of their existence make sense. And so I'm just talking about that similarity. Lots of people are born and they say, what the fuck have I been shoved into? And why do I have to play these roles? And why do I have to bow to Mohammed? And why do I have to do this? And why? And that part is reincarnated. The process of having to go through this idiotic struggle to find a way to make it meaningful to live in an insane asylum. Okay, that's the part reincarnated, is the observation that, oh, this is so fucking stupid. This is so undercooked. Okay, this fish is still wiggling. I'm supposed to eat it? I mean, it's too stupid. Pause for a minute. Alright, should be back. So obviously, people, this is sort of this identifying thing, right? I mean, you have something in common. So there's a common understanding of, this idea, this feeling that could come over a human being, that you both had this same, this realization that, oh, God, I'm really in shit. I gotta play a really bad game, and I gotta somehow navigate it with some sort of dignity intact and all of that kind of crap. And, ew, this sucks. And so you can identify. It's like somebody else who has a broken leg, or somebody else who had coronavirus, or somebody else, you identify. And that's sort of what's funny about the atmosphere now, is that people are identifying, like people who are hardworking, or who do like honor contracts and pay their bills, and understand the necessity of civilization, and the fact that the law has to mean something. You got to pay your taxes and blah blah blah. All this kind of crap, and they identify with a character who just couldn't be any more opposite than that. That's what's just so fucking funny. Just because he gives it lip service. He says something, but he doesn't, can't possibly mean anything to him. And that as soon as he gets a chance to, fuck that idea, he's going to fuck that idea because it doesn't mean anything. There's no principle involved here. So, like I said, like there's a realistic chance that these people do anything about any real problem, because they're basically for the creation of those kind of problems, the problems being created. They make money on them. And so they have little incentive to just play the game, and that's all they're doing. They're just playing the word game. So it's just kind of bizarre that the Democratic Party has somehow become a principled advocate for increasing population and creating diversity and competition for already meager jobs, already jobs that are already becoming difficult because our society is losing, the value of people is kind of getting lost. Machines can do it better and all that kind of stuff. And there's this real problem we have where there's no fundamental value in having working arms and legs. You just can't physically make a living anymore. And this is it's a big problem. And they're just like pretending it doesn't exist. And so they're principally advocating for something they were principally against, 15 years ago. And the other side is principally is fakely claiming they somehow don't want it, when no, they're the ones who initiated it. It's like the Reagan, fooling people with some notion of immigration law when all he wanted to do was increase immigration. So I mean, he took legal immigration and quadrupled it, right? While he said, "Oh, I'm against illegal immigration." Yeah, well, so what? What's the difference? If you're gonna just let them all in legally, what's the difference? So I mean, that was the part that was just so it's just so ironic. Um, it's ludicrous. It's preposterous. It's lots of words, but yeah, it just isn't just ironic that this is where we are. So, but yeah, I just can't get past. I mean, I guess So I guess I just I'm trying to say, okay, well, what if I didn't know who Trump was, and maybe I could, but still, everything he's done is so fucking sucky. I mean, that whole "You're Fired" show was so fake and phony and stupid. It was really just about, yeah, just sell cookies by shoving them in people's head, pockets, whacking them in the head, and steal their money. It didn't matter. I mean, none of it was in any way encouraged any kind of decency. It was just all about be as indecent or be as criminal as you can be without actually breaking some real law, but do anything as shysterly and connivingly as possible to win. And so, I mean, even if I just knew him from that one show, I'd hate this fucker. And I know him from a lot more than that. I mean, just dumb fucking piece of shit as a human being. I just can't. You're just sitting here saying, how can half the people in this country sit there and say that guy should be president? Over, yeah, okay, let's say that Biden isn't anything perfect, but he's literate. And obviously he actually learned something when he got educated. Where Trump hasn't learned anything since whatever, 5th grade. Oh, fuck. Oh, you just well, whatever, whatever. It's the world we live in. But you're just saying, how can I communicate with people that don't see that hypocrisy, don't see that as all duplicitous, don't see it as just too grotesquely disgusting to allow this fake, phony, fraud, lying scumbag to be a president? It would be just so. It's disgusting. Again, I mean, all this talk. I'm a billionaire. I have $10 billion. I don't have. I have very little debt. Very little debt. Very little debt. He's got to pay $1 billion in debts in the next 4 years. I mean, it's the bullshit, the lies, the fucking lies. Nobody could get away with anything like that. Nobody could get away with nobody else could be president and have a bunch of debt to a bunch of foreign banks and a bunch of unnamed debtors, unnamed individuals who he owns billions of dollars to, or millions, hundreds of billions of dollars to. Who could? Nobody could be president and have that sitting there as a liability. So why do you change the standards for this asshole? And he's such a low-grade asshole. I mean, it's just, there's nothing about him that is all admirable. Not a single, there's not one piece of him that's admirable. Not a tiniest piece of him. And so all there is I sure hate them foreigners. And he says it, but like, again, he just says it. Lip service. All right. That's, you know. So anyway, so yeah, so it's it's a nice little coincidence that the my 666th episode did turn out. I mean, it'd be better, I guess, if it happened when a pope died. You know, that would be really cool as a coincidence. But it's an okay coincidence that it just happens to be, you know, on one of these elections that are just so fucking, you know, like I said, it's just biblically retarded. This is a story you wouldn't think the human race would be capable of writing. That this would be the script for 2020 with the most sophisticated and advanced nation on earth. This is what's happening. They can't even decide who won. you know, you know, they don't even have a voting system where, yeah, I have a social security number. That should give me a right to vote. What's so complicated? It shouldn't be any more complicated than that. I should just punch in my social security number. Yep, this is how I voted. And we all should be able to see, you know, the votes in the sense that they're all connected to a number. You know. Well, but the righties, the right wingers, don't want that. They don't want accountability because, yeah, they can't cheat on their taxes and they can't do all the other crap they're doing if they actually have to be accountable humans. You know, they don't want anybody watching what they're doing. They don't want to be. Yeah, they don't. You know, what are you afraid of? Yeah. So, I mean, it's just so obvious. You're afraid you'll get caught being a lying, cheating scumbag. If we had real accountability. You know, if we have a real contest, you know, videotape the race. You know, if we videotape the race, you know, we'll catch them, you know, cutting all the corners. You know, going through the woods and, you know, doing all the other crap that they have to do to win. Because they can't do it. They can't do any of their merit thing. you know. So, you know. So anyway, just how ludicrous the world has become. You know, all these people, you know, selling this VPN stuff. Oh, you need a VPN so you're secure online. That's not what you do. You need a VPN to protect you from the people who have a VPN. you know, it's what the malicious people do is hide. You know, I need a cloak of invisibility to hide from the invisible crooks. You know, it's just too stupid. And yeah, so that's the state of things. And it sucks. It's sad and pitiful. And you know, the conversations worth having are the ones about what the hell we are doing here. Are we just redundantly struggling and to say, oh, I won. Yeah. You know, I did the Rubik's Cube. You know, and then we'll kill you. And then you can, oh, look, I did the Rubik's Cube, you know. You can just constantly just keep doing this. Just keep making a version, a robot, you know, and just change the programming a little and give it different colors, looking things, and different superficial differences. And just sit there and say, do the same calculation all over again. Just keep redoing it over and over. You know, and all there are is these certain number of stories you can tell about, you know, being an underdog or being a draconian something or other or being, you know, not having to, you know, just being talented, you know, so much better than everybody else, just so easy. You know, people have an easy life. People have a hard life. People have a this. People have to overcome. People who don't have to overcome. People who are lucky. People who are unlucky. So just writing these stories of this stupid mix of, you know, oh, you have to be an ugly person this time. Okay, the next time you'll be this person. You know, you'll have flat feet. The next time you'll have a weak pancreas, and the next time you'll have a blah blah blah, and you know, over and over and over and over again. I mean, that's the conversation to have. Is does it make really any sense? Is there anywhere to go here? You know, yes. I mean, life has its little special moments where you win. You know. You get to the promised land, you know, you know, in the subjective way, of course. I mean, you know, some people think the promised land weighs about 350 and, you know, has a big giant mole in the middle of her forehead. But, you know, different strokes, different folk, and all that kind of crap. But anyway, but it really is it. All of this, is it worth it? To play the little game. Look, I'm a moth that's almost invisible. I'm almost invisible. Almost invisible. So what? Yeah. Oh, the bird isn't going to eat you, but you're still going to get a fungus, and it's going to eat your antennas off, and then your little holdery feet thingies are going to get calcified. You won't be able to grip anything, and so the fucking ants are going to eat you. So yeah, you won't get picked off by a bird. You'll get deconstructed by a bunch of ants. That's winning. Fuck. Why? Yeah, who could think that's a good idea? So that's what pregos are doing. They're just picking a way to kill something. Well, this one is going to get killed in this ludicrous way. It'll struggle, do this, and then he's going to get run over by a baby stroller. So anyway, it's all so fucking ludicrous, stupid, horrible waste, and such. But yeah, that's the conversation that needs to take place. Nobody's talking about it. Just how pointless this is. This stupid story that should never be told. Chomp, chomp, yum, yum. Stupid story. Okay, so that's enough of a video, right? Yeah, that's really enough. I think I started with this image, so I could end in this image. Or not. Yeah, maybe we'll wait for the next one. Okay, sorry. Yes, that's it. Oh, come on, what's the next image? I'm just curious. Just waiting. Waiting together. So yeah, this is all what life is, just standing in line too. That's such a fun part of life. All the paperwork and the bullshit. Oh, fuck. Anyway, all the maintenance. So anyway, till the next time and such. And sorry, I apologize. I really have to invest a little more creative energy into these videos. But I have distractions, and so I have to work on it. I have to work on a plan. Yeah, that's it. A plan to work on a plan. Maybe that's what I need. I need a plan to develop a plan. My plan to develop a plan. Yeah. It's yeah. Maybe if I did it in Trump, it would make sense. I need a plan to develop a plan. We have a plan to develop the plan that's the ultimate plan of the planning. We planned it to planning. We give it to the planning planners to plan what the planners will do with the plan. Say that 4 times fast. Fuck. So anyway, till the next time and such. So forth and whatnot. So, it seems like this worked. It's going to be a video. It's really close to being a video. I mean, all I do is hit this button and it should be a video. So, another win for Linux. Oh, yeah. Frankly, yes. It only cost me 17 years of my life. But yeah, it worked once. So there's hope.